if you had invested 1,000 Ghana cedis from the beginning of January 2024 to December 2024 in Unilever Ghana shares, you would have made 2,218 Ghana cedis. If you had done the same 1,000 Ghana cedis in MTN Ghana shares, which is also listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange, you would have made 1,750 Ghana cedis in that same period. If you had invested 1,000 Ghana cedis in the new gold ETF, which is also listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange, from January 2024 to December 2024, you would have made 1,835 Ghana cedis. So this means that the Ghana Stock Exchange is also a viable form of investment for anybody who is looking for ways to diversify their capital, to invest for the future and to invest for long-term capital gains. And so the Ghana Stock Exchange is actually a good investment based on that. Now we're going to talk today about how you can buy and sell stocks of companies listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. That's what we're going to talk about today. And so if you are interested in this topic, don't forget to like the video so that whenever we upload content like this, you will also be one of the first people to see it. Also subscribe to the channel, and we will really appreciate us as it will continue to motivate us to continue giving you guys content. Now, if you disagree with anything we will talk about, don't hesitate to let us know in the comment section. Now let's dive straight into the video. This video is for infotainment purposes only. It is not financial advice. Remember to consult a financial advisor before you start buying shares. Okay, now let's talk. So what is a share in the first place? Now, shares represent ownerships of businesses. Whenever you own a share, what you do basically is that you have part ownership of a business. That's what basically shares mean. And so if you would like to own more of shares, it means that you are owning a larger percentage of the businesses. So let's say you can own 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, 30%, so on and so forth. That's how basically it works. So how do you make money from shares? There are two ways to make money from shares. The first one is called capital gains, and the second one is called dividends. Now, when it comes to capital gains, this is what it means. It means that you bought a share when it was low, and then you are selling it when it's high. Now, remember in the introduction, I gave you an example that if you had put 1,000 Ghana cedis in MTN Ghana shares for that period, that is January 2024 to December 2024, you would have made, that if it was MTN, you would have made 1,750. So that means that MTN Ghana had 75% capital gains from that period. That was up to 20th December 2024. That is how much they had made in that period, 75% capital gains. Now, at the same time, to some companies pay what we call dividends. Now, a dividend is a reward that is paid to investors as a reward for them keeping or holding the share. It's paid out of the profits that the company makes. And so some companies pay dividends. Not all companies on the Ghana Stock Exchange will pay dividends, but some do. And so if you want to go into dividend investing, then it means that you will need to also look for companies that pay dividends and then keep buying their shares so you get dividends. So I'm going to give you an example of some companies that paid dividends in that period. So now we know that, but there's also one important thing you need to know about dividends. Now, what makes dividends so amazing is that you don't necessarily need to sell your stocks before getting your dividends. Majority of companies that don't sell dividends, what it means is that you need to sell their stocks before you can get any form of compensation from them. But that's what makes dividends so amazing for a lot of investors out there. Now, two companies literally listed the Ghana Stock Exchange that pay dividends in 2024. The first one is Standard Chartered Bank. They declared a dividend of 1 cedi 74 pesos per share. So it means that if you own 1,000 cedis worth of that share, you multiply, not 1,000 cedis worth, but like you own 1,000 of the share in terms of quantity. You multiply the 1,000 times 1 cedi 74. That was what will give you the total quantity you would have made. Now, Ghana Commercial Bank, that's GCB, right, in 2024 financial year, they announced the final dividend of 0.25 per share. That means that if you own the 1,000 worth of GCB, you have to multiply that by the price per share, then you know how much you're going to make in dividends. And so it makes investing in dividends quite good, because you know that you don't have to worry about your capital appreciating or depreciating. But remember, most companies only pay dividends when they make profit. So it means that if your company doesn't make profits, the company has all the prerogative and all the right to decide that for a particular year they are not going to pay any dividends at all, because maybe they want to reinvest back into their business, or the company didn't make a lot of profits and so they don't want some to leave their business. And so it's not something you have to keep in mind and be very mindful about, that you are not assured of a dividend. Neither are you assured of capital gains. And so that is why, for anybody that's watching this video and then you've not heard about stocks before, you have to understand the very important facts about stocks is that they can appreciate in value and they can also depreciate in value. And so you can make good capital gains or you can lose your capital. That's why it's very important to select the right stocks. Selecting the right stocks is one of the most important things that you can do when it comes to investing in stocks. It makes a difference between making a lot of money and losing all your capital. So we have a stock exchange class where we teach you how to invest in the US stock market. It's going to go basic. We'll teach you, go to the fundamentals, how to analyze the stocks, and then we show you how to select dividend stocks, how to do REITs, ETFs. It's all part of that course. And so if you would like to learn how to do so, then just click on the link in the description or leave a comment in the comment section and then you'll be attended to. Now let's continue the video. Okay, so now we understand basically the whole concept about investing in stocks and how it works. Now, what is the stock exchange? So the stock exchange is basically like a market which connects buyers and sellers of shares together. That's what basically a stock exchange is. Now in Ghana, the Ghanaian Stock Exchange is basically called the Ghana Stock Exchange, and it's regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission of Ghana. So that's how basically the overview of the market works. So how do you buy shares? I know that's what a lot of people are actually been waiting for, because that's what the title of the video. Now, to buy shares in Ghana, there are two methods to buy shares. The first method is to use the brokers. So we have what we call licensed dealing members of the Ghana Stock Exchange. The licensed dealing members, I'm going to put on the screen so that we can all take a look at it. Now, why is this important? Because they have been licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission to buy and sell shares for investors. The investors are the people like you and I who like to buy the shares. Now, there are a number of them who are doing quite well. If you even want the list, you can just look at the description, I'll leave the link to the list there, or you can just go to Google and type licensed dealing members of the Ghana Stock Exchange. You will get a full list. But I'm going to mention a few. Now, it's not in any particular order. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. I'm just mentioning the list according to alphabetical order on the site, which is the Ghana Stock Exchange site. Now, the first is Amber Securities Limited, Black Star Brokerage Limited, Bullion Securities Limited, CDH Investment Holdings, Constant Ghana Limited, Capital Hill Denham Securities Ghana Limited, Data Bank Brokerage Limited, ADC Stock Brokerage Limited. So these are some of the stock brokers in Ghana. Like I said, these are the only order, they are only in alphabetical order. Apart from that, there's no other order apart from alphabetical order. Okay, so now let's proceed. Now we have a list of stock brokers. Now, the whole purpose of the broker, as I said earlier, is to help you to buy and sell shares of companies listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. So now that we have this list, the next thing we're going to do is that we need to go to the broker's offices. Now, when you go to broker's offices, you need to get your Ghana card, you need 2 passport pictures, and then you need a proof of address. Now, the proof of address is like a utility bill, something to show that you actually stay where you say you do. Now, you take this information and then you go to the broker, and then you go with how much you want to spend on shares. So it'll be like 1,000 cedis, 500 cedis, 300 cedis. How much you want to spend? That depends on your pockets. Now, when you get to the place, you tell them, okay, I want to buy the shares. Now, what the broker is going to do is that they are going to open a brokerage account for you, right? Now the brokerage accounts, they'll open it for you and you deposit your capital there. So the 500 Ghana cedis, you deposit it with them. Now the next step on the list is that the brokerage is going to take your information to CSD to open a CSD account for you. Right? Now the CSD account is what actually allows you to buy securities. That's what a CSD account is. But it is also regulated. So the regulator is now going to determine how long it takes. And it's actually a very manual process. And so instead of it being instantaneous, sometimes it can take like 1 to 2 weeks, or sometimes even up to 4 weeks. Some people may even have it take a little bit longer, maybe like 4 to 8 weeks. So you just need to keep on following up your broker to make sure that they are on the case and getting your account created for you. But once your account is created for you, you receive the notice from your broker. Now, before you leave the broker, take what you call a purchase order form and fill the purchase order form there. Now, when you fill the purchase order form, what it's going to do is I'm going to tell the broker that out of the 500 Ghana cedis that I'm giving you, maybe use 300 Ghana cedis to buy MTN shares, use the remaining 200 Ghana cedis to buy maybe TC Bank shares. And this is just an example. I'm not saying buy this in this exact order. Okay? So that's how basically it works when you're buying these shares. Now, after you have accomplished that, right, the brokers will probably they can even give you like a way to top up with your Momo, and then you can you tell the account, and then they'll send them a mail to tell them to buy A for you or buy C for you. Now, if you are watching this video and you are not in the country, what you need to do is to just, like I said, still go to the brokers list and then send them an email telling them that you would like to buy shares, but you are not in the country right now. And then they will show you a process to go through that will make it possible for you to buy shares on the Ghana Stock Exchange, even though you are not in the country. So simple. Now, let's go to the second method. Now, the second method for buying shares is using the IC World app. Now, the IC World app is owned by IC Securities. IC Securities is also a broker or a licensed dealing member. Now, so instead of walking to their office to buy the shares, you could use their app. Now, this is what I need to mention about the app. A lot of people are complaining about the app, and the reason why they complain about the app is because of the CSD account. Now, after they have filled everything and submitted their Ghana card, picture, all those things, they get to a portion where the app will tell them that they are creating a CSD account, and so they should wait. After the CSD account has been created, then they can start buying and selling shares. Unfortunately, right, a lot of people don't understand it and they have a problem with it. And so that is why I believe that if you are somebody that doesn't have the patience and you don't like the app interface, just go directly to their office. If you go on Google and type in their name, IC Securities, you get their number, you get the office address. You can just go there and make it easier for you. But if you still want to use the app, then let's continue the video. So you will need to download, you still need a Ghana card, you will need to take a picture of yourself, then you will need to answer some questions about investments. They are basically simple, just answer honestly. Then when you are done filling all the forms and answering all their questions, the next step is that you will need to wait patiently for the CSD account to be created for you. There's no shortcut through the process, you need to actually wait. Then after this is done, you realize that there are two things on the app. They have the IC liquidity fund, and then they have Trade Live. Now, when you are buying shares, what you are using is Trade Live. IC liquidity fund is like a mutual fund, and that's what we are talking about today. And so we'll stick to Trade Live. Okay, so then you go to Trade Live. Then when you go to Trade Live, you see that there are different shares there with different prices, and you see buy and then you see sell. Now, since you want to buy, we choose buy. Then you see the unit price of one share. Now, the next thing you need to do is to indicate the amount of money that you want to spend, whether you want to spend 10 cedis, 20 cedis, 30 cedis, 100 cedis. But before that, you must have topped up your account first, right? So after you do that, then just hit buy and then you buy. And this is another important thing you need to take note of. Now, when you are buying shares, even though you're using an app interface, at the back end, it's still a pretty manual process. And so when you make that initiating, when you initiate the process, you realize that the system goes to pending. Now, when it goes to pending, what you need to do next is that at the back end, IC Liquidity will now buy the shares for you on your behalf. And so it takes a while before you see it reflect on the app. I mean, sometimes about a week before you see that, you see it reflect on the app showing you that you have actually bought some shares. And so we are coming to the end of the video. If you would like to join our stock exchange class, you just let me know in the comments and then we add it to it. As usual, we'll talk more later.